What is Ashes of Creation? Ashes of Creation is a Western-made MMORPG which has PvP and PvE content. The game was kickstarted on May 1st, 2017 by Intrepid Studios. However, prior to its Kickstarter, it had already been funded to completion privately with $30 million plus other private investments. The Kickstarter allowed many people to back the game and allow for stretch goals, of which it smashed through many. The original goal of the Kickstarter was to reach $750,000, which it funded by May 2nd, the day after it had been published on Kickstarter, and then proceeded to reach $3.2 million going through stretch goals such as parlor games between players, small pets such as kittens and puppies, group mounts, a backer-only weapon skin, enhanced naval content with more ships and underwater environments, a backer-only armor skin, the Underrealm, a backer-only aquatic mount, social organisations such as Thieves Guilds, Scholars Academy and Traders Companies, backer-only dice, an Underrealm race, backer-only mount barding, backer-only skill effects, a stock exchange with in-depth economic metrics allowing players to invest into nodes, guilds and social organisations. Since day one, the game has been focused around having zero pay-to-win content, with the only buyables in-game being cosmetics. The game is based around a no-box cost and $14.99 subscription fee, with crowdfunding backers who backed at the Braver of Worlds level or higher receiving lifetime subscriptions. The game world works by being based around the node system, with each individual area around the world containing this node. Nodes allow each area to progress to different stages of civilization and development as players interact with the area by killing monsters, questing, gathering and adventuring. Day 1 of launch will comprise of an empty world. This means that nodes around the map and how they will be affected is completely down to player interaction. As more players complete activities in a certain area, over time this will then contribute to XP given towards the area's node. Once a node has gained enough XP, an expedition will appear with quests. As more players do the same in the area, this will then upgrade to an encampment with more quests, NPCs and opportunities. The more that players work with a node in an area, the better it can get, potentially to the max stage, which is a metropolis. With 103 nodes plus 15 additional castle nodes for a total of 118 nodes around the world, there are many different locations to be able to adventure, with each node's location dictating the quests and how the world events will happen there. However, not all nodes can be maxed out. I'll go in depth more about nodes in a future video which solely focuses on them. With a vast map, a question you might be asking now is, what are the travel options around the world like? Of course, whilst you're free to roam and run around to your heart's content, there will also be mounts to provide a faster form of travel. However, there will be very little teleportation around the world, likely being limited from scientific node metropolises to nodes within their zone of influence. Whilst there will be flight paths between nodes, airships between scientific metropolises, and player transport in which players can go AFK and be driven somewhere, there will not be any go-to waypoint auto-pathing mechanics. DLC expansions post-launch are planned to be released on a quarterly basis and will cost no more than the usual $14.99 subscription fee. From these expansions, it's expected to see players obtain more power, gear, ability levels, and higher level caps. The game contains 5 major races: Tulnar, Alar humans, Pyrian elves, Kivek orcs, and Dunzenkel dwarves. Apart from the Tulnar, all of these have their own sub-races. The Alar humans have the Kalar and Veilun, the Pyrian elves have the Empyrean and Pyrai, the Kivek orc has the Renkai and Vek, and the Dunzenkel dwarves have the Dunia and Nikua. If you want to know more about the races, I will be producing a future video which also, like the node system video, is going to focus completely on races. After races, we can then look at archetypes. What are archetypes? Archetypes are the primary and secondary classes that you can choose for your character. These are primarily tank, fighter, rogue, ranger, mage, cleric, summoner, and bard. As said before, these archetypes can then be combined in primary and secondary slots, each then combining into a different character type. Much like the races, though this is a lot of detail to go into, I will be producing a future in-depth video on this as well. Now to look into combat. As I said at the start of the video, the game contains PvP and PvE. I will go over the basics of this, however, much like races and archetypes, a future video will be needed to go more in depth. PvP is the catalyst for change in Ashes of Creation. Player combat is intended to be meaningful, ranging from caravan battles to vast open world conflicts fought for the pride of kings and queens. As well as these open world PvP situations, there is also arena-based combat. With all PvP, there are PvP seasons. Performance in various PvP systems such as Caravans, Arena and Guild Wars is measured over a 6-month course period. For those of you that aren't into PvP and are worried about the open world PvP system, don't worry so much, as there's a player flagging system, which is designed to stop players from being able to grief and gank other players. PvE in Ashes of Creation might be like many MMORPGs that you've seen before. Whilst the base core of it is that you can kill as many mobs that you like, there is also stuff like raids, dungeons, destructible environments and world bosses. For those that are into them, you'll be interested to know there are 3 different types of quests: events, tasks and narrative quests. For narrative quests, different servers will have different player-driven narratives, and things that may happen on one server may not happen on another. Part of this is due to the node system. Basically, one server might have nodes unlocked that another server doesn't have unlocked, and because those nodes that are unlocked, you will get different quests and different narratives via those unlocked nodes. There will also be different story arcs such as personal quest lines, cultural quest lines, and regional quest lines. For tasks, these might be player set quests, such as a mayor may have put a notice on a notice board that requires certain resources to progress the node. For events, these are things that happen as a result of the development in the world. They can take form of quests, pop-up trigger quests, or other storylines that can happen throughout the world. Events are public quests that are scaled to fit local, regional, and global needs. Something I'm finding myself getting very bored of saying is, as per again, I'll probably be making a future video to go more in depth on this. Leveling in Ashes of Creation won't follow traditional paths, however will follow classic mechanics for leveling, e.g. experience gain. Different ways of gaining experience might include PvE, PvP, exploration, gathering, processing, crafting, and doing events and quests. In situations such as PvP or PvE, it's important to note that there will not be any damage dampening effects due to difference in levels. If you're curious about max level, the level cap at launch is expected to be around level 50, in which the developers expect that this should be able to be attained within 45 days, provided you play 4 to 6 hours per day. Within Ashes of Creation there will also be an achievement system. As for player-based achievements, not much has currently been said on this. However, there will also be node-based achievements, of which, if you're a citizen of a node, you will also be able to achieve maybe certain titles or possibly certain relics. As well as this, there will also be a leaderboard in which certain player achievements can be tracked across individual and all servers. For now, I'm hoping that this might have given you enough of a rough overview of what Ashes of Creation might be like. As previously stated in the video, I'd like to take a more in-depth look on certain aspects of Ashes of Creation, such as a video on how nodes work and a video on how archetypes work. To be able to stay tuned for when these in-depth videos will be released, feel free to whack the subscribe button. If you have any suggestions for things for me to look at or any feedback for me to take on board, feel free to leave that in the comments section. If you liked the video or found it helpful, feel free to leave a like, that helps a lot. And if you didn't like the video, that's what the dislike button's for. Ta-da! Thank you very much for watching, and to show you made it this far into the video, feel free to leave a comment saying Blitzy is short. Catch you next time.